Let's make some noise. Come on.
Yes, indeedy. Thank you very much, Nick Foles. Welcome back, everybody, to the final word here on the It's a Wrap Sports Network with your boy MattyB on the call. Our Thursday night, and that means, unfortunately, our final broadcast night of the week as we completed the 5-show week. That's right. A little personal applause for myself. I think it's the first time we've done 5 shows in a single week in about, 4 or 5 months. Partly because of the schedules that I've been having, and also partly because fighting's final duties as well. So it's great to have completed a full week of broadcast episodes, and tonight we're going to finish it up in style. It's great to be here tonight. Today was the most anticipated day of the offseason so far, of course. The press conference that everybody was waiting with bated breath. Dave Dombrowski, Rob Thompson addressed the weak-ass Philadelphia sports media, and I mean weak-ass Philadelphia sports media. It is criminal the way the Philadelphia sports media represents this fan base. Extremely criminal. Now, am I saying they should be up there pounding their fists on a table saying we demand answers? No. But some of these softball-ass questions in reference to, what are some of them? How do you think things went? That to me, it misrepresents this fan base. 30 years ago, those types of questions would have been laughed out of the room. But today, in this day and age, with reporters more concerned about keeping their creds, and their ability to go inside that locker room, it has jaded and tainted their journalistic integrity. I heard one reporter ask 2 biting kind of questions, and that was it. Out of the entire, 2-hour press conference, there was one reporter who asked 2 questions that I could have said and get behind and be like, that's more like we want to hear. So Dombrowski and Thompson addressed the media. The Philadelphia sports media let us down. We will dissect both their press conferences, honestly. We'll get into that. Flyers, 5-2 losers tonight to the Winnipeg Jets, have now fallen to 1-2-1 on this young season, and a ripe 1-for-13 on the power play. Yes, folks, they are operating successfully on the power play at a 7% effective rate. You heard it here first. 7% effective on the power play, or your Philadelphia Flyers. Sam Ersson looking every bit about as useless as he has become in the net for the Flyers. I think the Flyers only gave up 15 shots. Do the math. They gave up 15 shots, and the Jets scored 4 goals on the goaltender. I don't know if I need to go any further than that. The defense in front of him was, decent, okay, as good as can be expected. Cam York returned to the starting lineup off of the IL. The Flyers offense continues to struggle mightily. Only 2 goals tonight. I'm not taking this thing one game at a time. Not kidding. Not going to really lose any sleep over the Flyers this year because there's no sleep to lose. So they lost 5-2. Eagles preparing for their Sunday matchup against the Vikings. Earlier tonight, the Birds blast with Kyle Quinn. Me and Kyle broke that thing down, and I predicted a Minnesota Viking 28-17 win, and the free fall will continue into week 7. So we can definitely discuss some more Eagles if you like. I can clarify some of my comments or opinions if you like. We can get into some Eagles as well. So full night, full schedule, full things, a lot of stuff. Let's go. Let's keep your head, hands, and feet inside the car. Let's strap it in, strap it up, strap it on. Let's begin. I kind of did that backwards. And our day in Philadelphia sports history is as follows. On this night back in 1983, the Wheeze Kids, the end of an era for Philadelphia Philly baseball that began in 1977. Yeah, ended on this day back in 1983 when the Phillies lost to the Baltimore Orioles in Game 5 of the 1983 World Series, signaling the end of perhaps at that time the best era of Phillies baseball. The 77-83 group won countless numbers of division titles, made 2 World Series appearances, and captured 1 championship. The team would start to break up the following spring, Pete Rose would be the first casualty as he would leave via free agency, go to Montreal, and then it would begin and unwind from there. And we were left with the future of Phillies baseball in the 1980s. And for those of us that experienced it firsthand, it was not fun. Things would be bleak until about 1993, about 10 years later. So on this night back in 83, it all began. The dismantling of the greatest era of the time. I'll make it was 07 through 11 has its place in that too. As one of the better eras in Philly sports history. But at that time, it was the 77-83 group that was the best in the history of the franchise, the most continued success. And it all ended tonight back in 83 when the Phillies lost to the Orioles, signaling the end of the era and the Wheeze Kids, the end of the Wheeze Kids. So there you go. Somber moment on your day in Philadelphia sports history. But then again, when are they not somber moments, for God's sakes? I mean, you got a city that's got 7 championships and over 150 years of sports participation. Most of them are somber moments. But there you go. There's your day in Philadelphia sports history. And that is brought to you by the fine folks over at the Birds Blast with Kyle Quinn tonight. We did our show at 5 o'clock. We did have to go down to 5 from 7 because of scheduling conflicts. Me and Kyle talked intelligently until he started bringing up Howie Roseman. But we did talk intelligently up to that point about the Eagles and Vikings matchup on Sunday. Kyle believes that this is going to be the game that they turn it around and beat the Minnesota Vikings. I do not feel that way. I took the Vikings to win this game and to have the free-for-all continue as it has been all season. So go back and check out the Birds Blast with Kyle Quinn. Not only the last or tonight's episode, but all the episodes that we've done over the course of the last 5 years. That's right, man. 5 years we've been doing that show together. Ryan checking in. MattyB. Ryan, what is up? Dave Arnold. Hey, Dave, how are you? I'm doing well, Dave. I hope all is well with you. Hello, everyone. And Joe Hale checks in. I'm absolutely so freaking disgusting. Outraged about Dombrowski, especially Rob, too. Okay, I guess Ryan's going to set the table, and I'm going to eat the dinner. Let's do it. Phillies today. We'll lead off with that, Ryan. Phillies much anticipated press conference. Listen, one thing before I start tearing into Dave Dombrowski. He's got one of the most soothingest voices I've ever heard. Thank God I wasn't operating heavy machinery while listening to that press conference. That guy could put me to sleep, man. I mean, I was getting ready to clock out of my day job, which I serve as a substitute teacher in an elementary school. That's right. They have entrusted me to shape the minds of our future. And I was sitting in the little area that I was occupying today, and I put on the press conference. It was later in the day, so I had to rewatch it. And I'm sitting there listening to Dombrowski, and the guy's putting me to sleep. He's got one of those ASMR voices, man. I'm telling you. Don't let me listen to him while driving long distances, or I'll kill myself or somebody else. But yeah, let's get into that. Dombrowski, going into the press conference, we got to go in with the right expectations. He wasn't going to rip into the organization. He wasn't going to rip into the players. He was not going to rip into the manager he just retained. It was going to be a lot of the word salad. It was going to be a lot of the usual stuff that Dombrowski says at these press conferences, but you had to be a very keen listener to in between the words, right? You had to almost step outside of yourself, look inside of the press conference, step back outside again, and go around the corner and look inside from that angle, and then you could actually understand what he was saying. What really burnt my biscuits about the press conference, Dombrowski's side, we'll get to Thompson in a second, but what Dombrowski said that burned my ass was the gloating over the dominance of the Los Angeles Dodger pitching. Listen, Dave, I don't know what you got going on this Phillies. You got a payroll that's third highest in Major League Baseball. You're paying these guys big money to be able to hit those types of pitching staffs. So instead of spending a lot of time, too much time, giving credit to the Dodgers pitching, why don't you spend some of that time being critical of your own hitters? So that to me was a little disturbing. And then the constant back and forth about how hard it is to win. Dave, do you know the audience you're talking to? Have you read the room? We've won 2 world championships in 143 years. Yeah, man, we know it's hard. All right. We don't have to be reminded that it's hard to win a world championship. You're being paid big money to win us world championships. So I don't need to be told the obvious. So that burnt my ass. Now, what I did like, and there is some things about the press conference on Dave's side I liked, was it seems like he's lockstep into what we've been talking about on this show over the last few nights with our off-season Phillies segment. It seems like to me, as the title of tonight's show indicates, we're running it back, but we're running it back 2.0 hybrid style. I anticipate one major offseason move, and that might be the signing of Pete Alonso. It's going to be that signing, or it's going to be the signing of Kyle Schwarber. One or the other is happening, but that's going to be it. That's all the major moves they're going to make. I don't think a rise is coming, and unfortunately, I think listening to Dave talk about Bryson Stott kind of has me resigned that Stott's coming back, right? So I'm a little upset about that, and that's something I'm going to have to get some time to get over because I don't know where you put him in this lineup. I honestly don't. If you're going to go young, if you're going to infuse the youth, where in the hell you batting Bryson Stott? Because he can't go up on top of the lineup, and he certainly can't bat in the middle of the lineup, and the bottom of the lineup is going to be a little bit crowded. So that's a little concerning. But I did like he mentioned by name the 5 players who I anticipate to be contributors at some point, in some way, in 2026. A lot of gloating over Justin Crawford. A lot of gloating over Aiden Miller. A lot of gloating over Otto Kemp. Alec Boehm's gone, by the way, too. I took that completely out of the press conference. Alec Boehm is history. They're going to move on from him, and Otto Kemp will be your third baseman, just like I predicted. A lot of gloating, or minimal gloating, over Gabriel Raconis Jr. They mentioned him by name, and only mentioned Nick Castellanos once when asked about the off the field or the insubordination crap. Nick Castellanos is historical, all right? And I know we all had that understood, but Dombrowski today solidified that by his defiance to talk about him at all. He's gone. Castellanos is gone. Talked about Andrew Painter. Did I say Miller? We talked about Miller as well. So I think the Phillies are going to go youth. I think they're going to use my model. MattyB's got it again. He's right again, man. Because I don't think they got the money to be active in the free agent market. And Dave Dombrowski's pretty much telling you that by saying, without saying it, that we're going to run it back, but we're going to change things, but we're probably going to do it internally, which is okay by me. I mean, that's how I'm kind of going off. And tonight here on this program, when we get to the Phillies offseason segment, we will do the catcher and the outfield tonight. So you're going to start seeing how my plan sort of mirrors Dave's plan a little bit. Also, when it comes to players, I'm a little bit, I couldn't read the room on the JT thing. He spoke about JT glowingly, about the intangibles, and we're going to get into JT a little bit later on. But I couldn't make a read on whether or not he was going to re-sign JT. But the reality around JT, this is just no other option. The free agent catchers out there are really nothing. We don't have anything internal. I know, was it Papernick last night mentioned Hunter Goodman from the Rockies. We're going to have to trade half the Lehigh Valley Iron Pigs to get him. So that's not happening, which I would like for it to happen. Ollie Rushman's not coming here. That's another situation about trading half your prospects away. So it's JT or bust, just the reality, just as I can read the tea leaves. And you know what? I've resigned myself to that. It's not the greatest situation in the world, but it's a situation that Dave Dombrowski put us in, and now we have to deal with it. So there was some things I took from that. But again, the gloating over the dominance of the Dodger pitching staff, and also the fact that he had to say it multiple times, and when asked straight up, and this is one of the two only questions that I give the Philadelphia media any credit for asking, and it was by the same guy. The rest of them, softballs. The rest of them were too worried about losing their credentials. The rest of them just don't want to get thrown out off the island. It's pathetic the way the Philadelphia sports media represents this fan base. I would love just one shot at it, just one time. Now, am I going to ask questions like, "Why do you suck?" No, I'm not going to do that. But I will ask the tough questions. Nobody down there but one guy asked tough questions. And he asked the question about the fans. Why should the fans trust you? And this has got to be probably the best answer I've heard all day. Because, and I paraphrase, Dave Dombrowski said, around the country, people tell him they like his ball club. The hell does that? Oh, who cares, man? We're not winning anything. So Dombrowski did the best he could. And again, I got to give Dave a lot of credit for word salad his way through that press conference because he said a lot without saying anything. Now, the other thing that I took out of that press conference is something that I missed when it happened. I missed Matt Strom talking about PFP. When did he do that? When did he come out and say that we didn't take enough fielders, position practice? When did he tell the media that? I missed that completely. And it was funny because he turned it around on Strom and said, we've been doing it. He hasn't been doing it. So I don't know if there's some bad blood there as well. Matt Strom might be on his way out too. But that was funny, calling Dave Dombrowski out and the team out and Rob Thompson out. I love that. That was fun. Again, one of the two only hard-hitting questions from today's press conference, which I enjoyed 100%. 100%. I hope it was just hidden from making it obvious and open to other teams and GMs to serious roster changes and plans coming. As I said, Ryan, I think that's where you could take it from, and I do believe in the change. I just don't think, especially in my plan, I want the two major free agent situations with me as the second baseman and the first baseman. I want Pete Alonso and I want Arise. All right. And I want Stott out of here. I want Castellanos out of here and I want Bohm out of here. I mean, we've already revealed all that. No, I haven't talked about Castellanos yet, but a little sneak peek on what Castellanos gone. I don't think we're getting off a Stott. I think they're going to hang on the Stott for at least through the length of this contract. And I got that. I took that from today. I really did. But as far as Bohm and did he even mention Alec Bohm's name once? And I don't even remember. Maybe once he said his name. Bohm's done. Bohm's history. Castellanos' history. Matt Strom might be history. I don't know. But they're going to move off of some players, and the replacements of those players are, from every indication I got, are coming from within. I mean, he spoke a lot about those 5 players, and they're the same exact 5 players that you're going to see MattyB is already incorporated into his plan as well. So massive change is coming. But like I said back when we first started this little exercise about the offseason, don't expect it to be major moves from the outside. It's going to come from within. And it looks like, at least tonight, I'm right. But, I mean, we haven't even really got to the offseason yet. Exactly. Criticize our guys knowing we need to make our team better and stop giving credit. 100%. 100%. That's all. Ugh. Nick is gone. Yes, he is. He's gone as hell. Veteran bench coach. Yes, and then the other big news was the Phillies decided to promote their bench coach and make him the MLB field coordinator. And Dombrowski said, when asked about why we're doing that and why now, that, 80% of the teams in Major League Baseball utilize a MLB field coordinator. Well, that's incorrect. Only about 30% of the teams out there do it. And it's to give Rob Thompson another set of eyes. So what you can take from that was that Thompson's bench coach was Critelli, what was his name? Something like that. Was not doing a good enough job, or they want somebody in Rob Thompson's ear to help him make better decisions game day, which of course they're not going to say that because that would be almost admitting that you have a terrible manager, which they do, but he's coming back and they're going to go out and find another bench coach. So and it's going to be a guy preferably with MLB managerial experience. Now, this could be viewed as a couple of different ways because Joe Held mentioned this a couple of nights ago about not bringing the coaching staff back. And of course, they said today they are, with the exception of the bench coach. This to me smacks of a safety net for Rob Thompson. They're going to bring in a known commodity. You're going to see it. I don't know if it's a It's going to be somebody with absolute managerial experience, because if things go sideways from the Phillies, if things get off to a very bad start and we find ourselves in a 2022 leg hole come late May, they're going to make that move and fire Rob Thomson in season. And they want somebody that they can put in behind Thomson to keep the season rolling through. So they had to make up a job for the old bench coach, because they don't trust him to take over as the manager if that happens. And they're going to bring in somebody else. And it's going to be a known guy, I guarantee you. Now, is it Don Mattingly? Maybe. Is it Bruce Bochy? No, he's not coming in as the bench coach. Could it be a Dusty Baker? Maybe. Who knows? Because I'm guarantee you the conversation is going to be asked whether or not, hey, am I going to have an opportunity if Thomson screws this up and you decide to fire him? Well, I have a shot at being the next manager. So to me, that was word salad. They're putting in a guy that they trust more if they have to fire Rob Thomson in season because things are not going too well. That's where I'm taking that the creation of the MLB field coordinator by the Phillies. It has everything to do with that. They don't want to fire the guy completely from the organization that was serving as the bench coach, but they don't trust him if they got to fire Rob Thomson in season. So they're going to make up a job for him, keep him aboard, find another bench coach who's got MLB managerial experience, so that when or if the time comes to can Thomson midseason, you got your safety net. You got your Rob Thomson for your Joe Girardi, so to speak. So that was interesting too. Phone lines open tonight. Yeah, perhaps. Ridiculous. They were terrible questions, man. Terrible questions. I cannot emphasize and stress enough how the Philadelphia sports media in 2025 does not properly represent this fan base. And it's become criminal. They are more concerned with keeping their credentials and the status quo than they are about getting the story. And it's pathetic. Absolute pathetic. And that's all I can really say about it, except for that one guy whose name escapes me right now. He's the only one who asked good questions, and there were two of them. The rest of them might as well all been wearing knee pads in my estimations, because that's all that was to me. That's all that was. I'm thinking Alonso is staying in New York. He wants a 7-year deal. Alonso will not. I hope not. I hope he's a Philly. I hope he's a Philly. Not once Bohm. No, not once Bohm. Yeah, I thought, did he mention his name? So, all right, maybe somebody mentioned his name. Wasn't it one of the reporters asked about Bohm back and forth? I know I heard his name, but you're right. I don't think I heard Dombrowski mention Alec Bohm's name one time. That's the kiss of death. That is the kiss of death. And Castellanos would have gone through the whole press conference without being asked about him talking about him. But the guy who asked the second hard-biting question asked about the insubordination stuff. So silence speaks volumes. Alec Bohm, Nick Castellanos are gone. As far as Kyle Schwarber goes, it was interesting because he did mention how they are interested in keeping him around, but then he pivoted and started kind of talking about what life would be without Kyle Schwarber. When the question was framed, how much does he mean to the team and the community with all the work he does? And Dombrowski said, obviously, he means a lot to this team and he means a lot to the community. But if he does not come back, somebody in that locker room's got to step up. That spoke volumes to me. That he would say something like that. Now, again, I get it. You don't want to tip his hand. He wants to keep everything close to the vest, and I appreciate that. But he needs to do a better job, because I was reading through everything. You already said Thompson is getting an additional year added to. Yeah, well, because they can't have him go into the season dead man walking, right? They can't lame duck, whatever. They can't have him do that. But I'm telling you, it makes no other sense to all of a sudden now, and then what did Rob Thomson say that the conversation about the MLB field coordinator was actually brought up at the end of last year, but they never got to it or never got around to it or whatever he said. Now all of a sudden they're going to push forward with it. it is to give Rob Thompson another set of eyes. But to think that that's not a safety net as well. You mark my words, Ryan. Whoever it is going to be a known MLB former manager. I'm telling you it is. It's going to be somebody who has the ability. Now, I don't know if it's going to be recent ability or 30 years ago, whatever. I don't know. But there's going to be a known name sitting in that bench as the bench coach this year. I'm telling you. I can read the tea leaves. I can read them. Well, I'm not opposed to maintaining the current coaching staff. I believe significant roster changes are necessary to bring in players in outstanding plate discipline, pitch selection, situational hitting, and runners in scoring position, as well as those who utilize an all-fields approach. The main problem resides with the players whose habits and tendencies are deeply ingrained, and coaches can only provide guidance and advice, which may yield temporary improvements before players. You droned on, and I think you ran out of space here because I don't know where your second part is. But listen, Ryan, I get your point, and I really could not have said it better myself. And Dave kind of intonated to that as well. You know, at the end of the day, it was on the players. Now, the Bryce Harper stuff we'll talk about in a second, but you're right. And I do believe change is coming. But I think Phillies fans need to brace themselves for what vein that change is coming from. It's not coming from the outside. It's going to come from within. As I mentioned, the 5 players, the 5 young prospects that we've always talked about on this show, or they're always talked about in general, are going to be, in some way or form, major components of 2026. He spent about 11 minutes talking about Otto Kemp. Otto Kemp's your starting third baseman to start the season. Book it. Book it. Now, he also mentioned Aiden Miller. Talked about Aiden Miller potentially playing second base. Talked about him playing shortstop. Talked about him playing third base, but then also said he's not coming up unless he plays every day. So that's a little bit of a loaded answer. And again, I said it last night that I don't anticipate Aiden Miller being part of the opening day roster. I do, though, anticipate him being part of the roster at some point during that season. And maybe that lines up to what he was talking about as well. He slightly mentioned Gabriel Raconis Jr. by mentioning that he also deserves an opportunity. And what position does GBR play? He plays right field. Guess what? We got a hole out there. So Andrew Painter's name was mentioned. Now, I thought Andrew Painter was he was spot on about the Andrew Painter stuff. People said, where do you stand with Andrew? Are you happy with the way he's progressed? And I've said this before, that the number one concern for the organization this year was with Andrew Painter was that he got through the entire season without getting hurt. That was number one. Everything else is going to come back in time. He mentioned the velocity was still there. The break was still there. The stuff is still there. The command is obviously not there. And he also talked about how in Tommy John, command is the last thing that really returns. So they feel Andrew Painter is lined up right on schedule. Now, whether or not Andrew Painter is your starting rotation outside of spring training as they break camp next February, March timeframe, perhaps he will be, because he also talked about Zach Wheeler, and he actually gave a time frame. He was specific to say on the mound, on the major league roster, ready to pitch a game the end of May. That's what he said. And he could have been very open-ended about it. Well, 6 to 8 months, maybe around the end of May is when we can maybe think about getting him back. No, he was very specific by saying he'd be pitch ready on a roster, ready to go end of May. So take that from what it is. Zach Wheeler will probably remain down in Clearwater for an extended spring training next year, not come north with the team. So who fills in that role as the fifth starter? Is it Taijuan Walker? Is Ranger Suarez? Now, Ranger, I didn't hear Ranger's name really mentioned much as well. That tells me that he's gone. So there's some work to be done, and some changes are coming. And again, as press conferences go, and I got to give Dave this, I do. I know he didn't say a lot on the surface, but he said a lot in between the lines, and you had to read in between the lines. But yes, it was very frustrating how he kind of, as I mentioned, goaded over the Dodgers pitching. Dude, what in the hell are you talking about? And again, I don't have to be reminded how hard it is to win championships. I'm from Philadelphia, okay? You don't have to remind us. It's not like he's talking to a fan base in Colorado or in Pittsburgh. No, we know how hard it is to win championships. Don't insult our intelligence by telling us how hard it is. Now, that was a situation, if I would have been in that room, the next question would have been right back at that with the whole something in aspect. Well, it's your job to get pitching staffs or hitters that can overcome these pitchers. You're paying the money. You can't do it. Don't insult the fans by saying it's hard. Do you know where you're at? I would have then it would have been unhinged Matty B. I'll admit to that. Again, that's why I'm not down there, because they don't want questions like that anymore. They want softball questions. I'm surprised they're not pre-done and given to the media by the team. I really am. But so that was another takeaway. It was terrible media. It was Marcus Hayes that asked the good questions. Yep. Was it Marcus Hayes? Ugh. And Star Wars says, don't run it back. Star Wars, they are running it back, but they are not running it back as you think they are. They're running it. The players are going to move, and they're going to infuse the team with young talent. Major offseason acquisitions are not coming. Maybe one. I still think one is coming, because they're going to have to take the money that they're not spending on Kyle Schwarber and spend it somewhere else. That money's going to have to be spent. So, I think one acquisition, but in my plan, I have two major acquisitions. I have Luis Ariz being brought in to play second, and I have Pete Alonso coming in to play first. One of them ain't happening. It's probably Luis Ariz. So, yep. Now, the Rob Thompson portion of the press conference went over just as well as the Dave Dombrowski. You got less from Thompson, other than everything went as planned, and that, hey, I'm sorry, we'll get back at it next year. And then he mentioned something. Somebody did ask him, when would you not come back? Essentially, like, did you think that after what happened in Game 4 and everything else has happened in the past in the playoffs, that you weren't going to be asked back? And Rob Thompson said, no, paraphrasing, of course. I don't worry about my job. And honestly, until I feel like they don't want me and that I'm not doing a good job, then I'll stay. So he gave an indication about his retirement status. He'll stay here as long as he feels we like him and we want him. Again, Rob, I don't know who you're listening to or who you're talking to. I don't know too many people out there hoisting Rob Thompson banners in the air, but that's what he said. And I guess obviously he meant the organization. He doesn't give a damn what the fans think or feel. And of course, and I wouldn't either, honestly, if I was in his position. But Rob Thompson was just about as energetic as Dave Dombrowski was. Both monotoned. Again, do not operate heavy machinery when listening to this press conference. You will hurt yourself or others. Two most monotoned, soft-spoken people I've ever heard in my life. He was putting me to sleep. Dombrowski was putting me to sleep. Painter is not going to winter ball. No, he is not. Painter is going to complete a off-season training program. That's not winter ball. They mentioned somebody going to winter ball. Who was that? Was that somebody was going to winter ball? I don't know who they said was going. It wasn't Painter, but they did mention somebody going to winter ball. Rob should have been fired. Yeah, should have been, but he's not. Pathetic. Ryan Swope says, if we trade Nick and possibly a prospect not too high but average to allow another team to take on the money to say that they can sign another guy. That could happen. But does Nick Castellanos, is he tradable? And not even for the money anymore. Now, I'm not even talking about the contract. With all that's happened here in Philadelphia. And, here's the thing, and I said this about Castellanos, and I'm going to say it again tonight when we talk about the outfield. Is Castellanos in this toxic stuff that he started this year? Is he tradable? Is another team going to see, one, that he's done in Philadelphia and that there's no way in God's green earth they're going to bring him back? Are they going to wait out Dombrowski for him to be released so that they can scoop him up for maybe a little bit extra, a little bit less? Because it's not like this has been kept quiet. All right. This is all over the place. And if we're hearing about it, other GMs have heard about it, obviously. People talk. So are they going to play the waiting game with Dombrowski and the Phillies on Castellanos? Because they know that Castellanos cannot come back, and he won't come back to Philadelphia. So, have we kind of screwed ourselves, or has Nick screwed us out of getting any sort of compensation for him if or when the move is made? Miller. Yeah, Miller's going. I know he said somebody was, but it wasn't Painter. I have a problem with the World Baseball. What's the problem? Star Wars. Let me ask you a question, man. I consider you a baseball guy. What could you possibly have a problem with playoff baseball in March? What could you possibly have an issue with that? It's the greatest thing going, man. It's the postseason 6 months early. I love it. I wish they did it every year. And if you give me the crap, well, it messes up players' timing, I don't want to hear that nonsense. All right? No, it does not. It does not. It actually gets them probably in game shape faster than their counterparts who are not playing in the World Baseball Classic. I don't agree to that. No, I love it, man. I love it, love it, love it. I love me some WBC. Matter of fact, I don't have it in here anymore. I have my Team USA hat out in my car. Absolutely. And again, I hope, I wish they did it every year. It messes up that. Messes up what? You're putting players into a situation where you literally it's postseason baseball in March. What can possibly go wrong there? Someone might get hurt, like Edwin Diaz. Hey, oh well. I love it. It gets them ready faster. Stop coddling these people, man. Stop coddling them. Messes up that. I disagree. But anyway, that's it. So a couple of other points. And yes, Bryce Harper. Let's talk about that. So when asked about Bryce Harper and his season, he said, and again, I paraphrase, it wasn't an elite season for Bryce. It was an all-star. He still compared him to an all-star player, but Bryce Harper did not have an elite season. I appreciated that. I did. I appreciated that that acknowledgement. I did. I know there's some social media stuff going around right now that Bryce might be mad about that. Well, boo freaking who? Then don't go out there and steal $330 million from this organization and put in a performance like you did last year. That's all I can say about that. Bryce Harper is not immune to criticism. Again, that's another thing that's got to go with this team is this diva stuff. And if, breaking up Castellanos, breaking up Schwarber, that removes two of the heads, leaves really just the one in Bryce Harper. And that's another positive sign too, hopefully, is that maybe the team is taking back control of the team from Bryce Harper. I mean, let's face it. Maybe this is like a lot of inside stuff that's changing now. Who knows? But yeah, that was also an interesting point made that Dombrowski admitted that Harper was not having an elite season. Also mentioned Alvarado would be back by saying that I can't confirm that, but I don't see why he wouldn't be back. He also talked glowingly about Harrison Bader. Now, another thing, and we're going to move off of this press conference because I could spend probably 3 hours talking about it. But the other thing that burnt my biscuits was the mention of Harrison Bader and Nemando Sosa as such pivotal members of the playoff push. I've said this before. Bader was a great story, a great pickup. I'll give him credit on that move at the trade deadline. Sosa had a great offensive year as well. But if you're going into the postseason with the Phillies roster, with the way the money is tied up and the players you got, and you're pinning your hopes and dreams on Harrison Bader and Nemando Sosa, there's a problem there. There's an absolute 100% problem. Okay, so for Dombrowski to kind of point out two instances or references, one, Bader got hurt, and that play where Sosa just missed hitting extra bases as key pivotal moments of the postseason, little insulting if you ask me. An absolute little insulting. Again, they were great stories, absolute great stories, but they should not have been your keynotes to success or failure inside the postseason. I'm sorry. That's a problem with that type of payroll and that type of roster. So that was insulting, and I didn't like that. And again, does he think we're stupid? Honestly. So many PM radios say Phillies didn't get smoked by LA. Okay, but what has been the same repeated problem the last 4 years? No good hitters. Stop looking at the other team and their goodness. Look at the repeated some flaw. Yeah, Ryan, I'm with you, man. 100%, brother. I agree. I got sick to my stomach hearing about it. You know, I don't need to be told how hard it is. Yeah, I know that, Dave. That's why I'm not the president of the Phillies, and you are. You cash your check every 2 weeks. Is that hard? Are you having problems at the ATM? No. You're cashing that check with no issues. So we expect a job to be done. And you know what? I would have respected him more, Ryan. I would have respected him more if he sat up there and say, listen, before you start grilling me about this, yeah, man, it sucks. 4 straight years and we can't get any further. It sucks. I failed. I thought this was going to work. That was going to work. We brought in these guys and it didn't. I'm sorry. We're going to work our asses off to fix it for next year. You're right. I would have respected him so much more if he would have done that. But don't deflect it away and say, oh, because you know what he sounded like? And I hate to say it. He sounded like an Eagles homer fan when asked about the struggles of the team. They go outward. Oh, well, do you know the Colts are struggling? Or no, the Bills lost 2 in a row. Or the Ravens are bad this year. And the Chiefs, oh, who cares, man? We're talking about our team. I don't care how good the Dodgers were. I don't need to be reminded that they're the defending world champions. I read the papers, man. I get it. I want to know why we're not the world champions. I want to know where we failed to become the world champions. And if you would have sat up there like a man and said, listen, guys, fire away. I'm an open book. To a certain extent, I'm not giving away strategies for the offseason. I'm not going to talk contracts. I can't and all that. But for me to sit here, I'm going to tell you right up front, we failed. I failed. The organization failed. Your trust was in us. We didn't deliver again. It's become unsatisfactory. It's not acceptable. Nobody in this room is more pissed off than I am about this. And we are going to try to fix it. And I'm not going to sleep until it's fixed. Fire away. What are your questions? I would have respected him so much more than talking 15 minutes about how good the Dodgers are. 100% agree with that. 100%. Aye. We'll not play in the World Base. No, of course you won't. Matt, are the phone lines open? Yes, Ricky, they might be. Just give me. I'm 45 minutes into the first segment, trying to get through there. Go Team USA. That's right. Damn it, Star Wars. We got to avenge our loss to Japan. We got to avenge the strikeout of Shohei Ohtani to Mike Trout that ended our hopes and dreams. Remember that? That was Trey Turner who hit like 8 home runs in a 5-game tournament. Remember that? His first year as a Philly? It was amazing. Absolutely amazing, the last WBC. And with the labor problems looming in 26, with the labor issues that are looming in baseball, the more baseball I get in 26, the better. It might have to last me for a while. So bring on the WBC. All right. Let's move on. Now let's continue on because we're going to talk about the Phillies. We're going to continue the conversation about the Phillies. He's not lying. Dodgers are a solid team. I don't need Dave. I don't need the president of baseball operations to tell me that. I don't need to be told that. I get it. We all get it. I'm not concerned about the solidity of the Dodgers. I'm concerned about the flaws of the Phillies. And as the president of the Phillies, that should have been what the number one thing was. You don't got to sit up here and say, hey, remember we lost to the Dodgers. No one needs to be reminded of that. Nobody does. Be more concerned about why we lost to the Dodgers, not that they had such great pitching. And that's really what he kind of was harping on. But why we failed. I don't need to be told that winning's hard. I certainly don't need to be told that. Nobody who's lived in this city needs to be told how hard winning is, especially from somebody that's getting paid money to win. Don't need to be told that stuff. I'm sorry. It's a loser mentality. and it's soft, in my opinion. I want something better from my sports people. I don't think, honestly, 30 years ago that would have been tolerated. We would have Dave Dombrowski would have been lambasted during that Philadelphia media reign for talking that way about the Dodgers. They would have fried him up for speaking so long and so glowingly about the Dodgers. I get it. I read the papers. They lost. Don't need to be reminded of how. So that's my take on all that. God damn you. Eagles have a problem with their locker room. Absolutely. And if you go to the Birds Blast that we did earlier, me and Kyle Quinn, I brought that very same question up to Kyle, and he was concerned as well. So please check that out, Star Wars. It's up there on our YouTube thing. And make sure you like and share, subscribe. You know the drill. But let's continue on to Phillies, because we got to get into our postseason, off season. I'll stop calling it the postseason when the postseason ends. The Phillies off season, who stays, who goes, and why. Tonight, we're going to bring you the catcher position and all the outfield. We're doing the catcher position and all the outfield. We've done the manager. We did it. We did it the night that they decided to keep Rob Thompson. So I ended up doing about a 35-minute bit about who should replace Rob Thompson, even though we knew that he wasn't. But I wasn't going to get away from that. Talked about the first baseman. The first baseman needs to come off that position, but stay on the baseball team, because I want Bryce Harper to be my new DH, because, yes, I am not throwing money after Kyle Schwarber. Kyle Schwarber can go. We can put together his little tribute video from when he comes back to CBP, and we all can have a great kumbaya moment that night. But Bryce Harper will be my new DH, and I want to bring in this man to be my new first baseman. That is Pete Alonso, with his 272 batting average in 2025, his 38 home runs, his 126 RBIs, and his very, very nice 871 OPS. That is who I want to come in on a manageable, if we can make it that way, contract to replace the power that I'm losing in Kyle Schwarber. Then we talked about last night, second base. We went over second base and shortstop. Of course, second baseman was Bryson Stott, 147 games, 257 batting average, 13 home runs, 69 RBIs, 719 OPS. Only committed 3 errors, 91 strikeouts, and 499 at-bats for about 18%, and under team control through 2027. I was not in favor of staying with Bryson Stott, but after listening to the comments today by the team president, I think Bryson Stott will in doubt stay. But I wanted to move off of Bryson Stott for this guy, Luis Ariz, 154 games for the Padres, 292 batting average, 8 home runs, 61 RBIs, 719 OPS, 1 error, and he strikes out about 3% of the time, and he comes at about a market value of about $14 million. That is who I want to replace Bryson Stott, but I don't think I'm going to get my way on that. I think Bryson is here to stay at least through the life of his contract, the remaining life of his contract. And then we finished up with our shortstop, the 2025 NL batting champ, who finished with the lowest batting average of any ever, 50 years, I guess, is the lowest batting average in NL to win the NL batting title. 141 games, 15 homers, 69 RBIs, and an 812 OPS. Only 8 errors in the field for Trey Turner last season, his lowest total since 2021, and he's under contract through 2033. So I don't see a way we're getting away from that. And let's face it, I will not deny the fact I am a Trey Turner guy. I still like Trey Turner, and I still think he's got value. I do. And I think he's our leadoff hitter for the future. So we decided to stay with Trey Turner. So that leads us now, and we also did this last position. We did the whole infield. We talked about Alec Bohm and his 120 games played, 287 batting average, his 11 home runs, his 59 runs batted in, his 740 OPS, his 82 strikeouts in 464 at bats, 5 errors, down from 14 in 2024, under team control through next year, and he batted a very healthy 333 in the postseason. But we discussed it, and when I say we, I mean me. It's too up and down, too streaky. The maturity issues. Matter of fact, Dave Dombrowski did talk about his maturity got better. He did talk about that. Yeah, they did talk about that for a little bit. But I still don't think it's enough. Because after I listened to Dave Dombrowski go on and on about Otto Kemp and Aiden Miller, I pretty much made up my mind. Well, I made up my mind with Bohm already. I think Bohm needs to go because he represents that Nick Castellanos thing. He represents that immaturity. He represents that bitterness. He represents losing. I don't care. I look at Alec Bowman. I think he's a loser, man. Honestly, I really do. So he needs to go. And my replacement for Bowman, at least to start the season, is Otto Kemp. 62 games played, 234 batting average, 2 different stints with the Phillies last year, 8 homers, 28 RBIs, 709 OPS, struck out 67 times in 197 at bats. That's way high. But he's also under team control through 2031, and he has the versatility to play just about every position on the field, with the exception of catcher. And Dave Dombrowski glowed about Otto Kemp today. So did Rob Thompson. So Otto Kemp is part of this team next year. Where they have him on the field and what role, I don't know. But I'm telling you, I think it's third base. I think he's your starting third baseman. But we also talked about Otto Kemp being a temporary fill until this young man can make his debut in the major leagues. And that's, of course, Aiden Miller. Aiden Miller spent time between AA and 1 game in AAA. He got called up right at the end of the season. Played 1 game, 1 regular season game for the Iron Pigs. But through 116 games, batted .296, 14 homers, 42 RBIs, and a .921 OPS. His service time has not begun yet. And he, of course, was the 2023 first-round pick of the Phillies, 27th overall. They mentioned Aiden Miller and his where on the field that they would put him. I know there was some talk about second base. Aiden Miller's never played second base, or maybe he's played it once or twice, but he was a third baseman by trade when they drafted him. They've converted him to shortstop. But I don't see a need for him at short. I don't see a need for him at second. Even if you keep Stott, I still don't see a need for Aiden Miller at second. So I look at Aiden Miller returning back to his natural position of third base at some point in 2026. So now that leads me to the next position on our little roster. That's, of course, catcher, another contentious position. Now, let's set the table for the catching situation. JT Realmuto. Let's bring his little thingy up. 134 games last year, a .257 batting average, 12 homers, 52 RBIs, and a .699 OPS. A dreadful offensive season, by all accounts. By all accounts, I don't know what he was doing offensively last year. Just a terrible, terrible season. But here's the unique situation around JT. JT's got the Phillies by the balls. He absolutely does. And I wish somebody would have brought this up to Dombrowski today. Hey, Dave, you've frittered away all of our catching potential within the organization. You traded away O'Hoppe. You traded away Taiit. You've left us with Caden Hedinger, Jordan Disson. I keep on forgetting this one kid's name, man. The kid in AA. The other kid in AA, and then Farabus down in rookie leagues. We have nothing in the pantry for catching. You got Rafael Marchand. You got Garrett Stubbs. You got nothing organizationally in catching. All right. Why do you think you have any leverage in negotiating with JT Realmuto? Because the Phillies don't have any leverage. JT holds all the cards here. Because if JT decides to take his ball and go elsewhere, this is what you're looking at, the catcher-wise, in the free agent market. Just a little peek. Salvador Perez is a very good catcher, but he's 35 years old, and he's got a club option with the Royals next season. Then you got Mitch Graver at 35 years old, who's got a mutual contract agreement with the Mariners next year, but perhaps. Christian Vasquez coming in at 35 years old. He's a UFA. Are you really going there? I mean, just bring back Darren Rupp. I mean, good God. Danny Jansen, William Contreras, which is a decent option, but he's got a club option next year with the Brewers. Max Stassi, Tom Murphy, I mean, there's nothing out there. James McCann, he's hanging around. at 35 friggin' years old. You know, JT's at 35 years old. I don't see any way out of this. I do not see any way out of re-signing JT Realmuto. You can't do it. You cannot not do it. JT has to come back because I don't see a plan otherwise. I don't know what they would do. There's nothing internal and there's nothing external on the market right now. We mentioned last night Hunter Goodman from the Rockies. Is that a trade possibility? Yeah, well, if you want to give up your entire AAA team. Yeah, sure. Rashman from the Orioles. If you want to give up your entire AAA, yeah, sure, that's probably an option. But when we talk the real world, realistically, JT has got the Phillies by the balls. And Dave Dombrowski set that battlefield, man. He set that. The intangible that JT brings, again, mentioned by Dombrowski, it's one of the best, if not the best, in all of baseball defensively. The way he calls the game, the way he sets a defense, the way a pitching staff respects him. But batting .257 with 12 home runs and 52 RBIs in 134 games. I need more than that offensively. I need a ton of more than that offensively. He played a little bit better in the postseason. I'll give him that. So I don't see another option here. I'm not saying I want him back because in a perfect world, no. It'd be time to turn the thing over to Logan O'Hoppe in 2026. It'd be time to cut JT free. O'Hoppe, you're it. You're the first year as a full-time catcher. But I just don't see an option right now. So yes, in my plan, begrudgingly, JT's coming back. Because I just don't see another option for the Phillies. Not at all. I'm dreaming on this Alonso deal. I'm not seeing it. I am dreaming a little bit on that. Aiden Miller is a third baseman. He came up he was drafted as a third baseman, but the Phillies converted him to shortstop. They've been working him at short for the last 2 years within the system. He played all his games last year at shortstop. Maybe he played a couple at third, but primarily he's listed on every media guide, every starting lineup. You go back and watch any Reading Phillies game and the one Lehigh Valley game, he's playing shortstop. But yes, he is a third baseman by trade. I'm a Marchand guy. They won't give him time of day. Yes, they will as the backup. They're not going to turn, and rightfully so, they shouldn't turn it over to Marchand. He's not ready to be the starting catcher. He's a good backup. Do the Phillies go and get a good back? Yeah, they have a good backup catcher. It's Rafael Marchand. I'm not saying you get away from Marchand, but you can't turn it over to him either. JT Realmuto's got the Phillies by the balls. He's coming back. Because and if he doesn't, then what the hell's the plan? I'd love to know what the plan is. So there you go. There's the catcher. I will open the phone lines once I get through this segment. Now we go to the outfield. Now this is going to be fun. This is where it gets a little dicey. All right. So the purpose of this exercise, the outfield consists of the following players: Brandon Marsh in center field, Max Kepler in left, and Nick Castellanos in right. That is my outfield. That's the outfield I'm going with to start this exercise. This is who I'm deciding on, okay? I know Bader. I got Bader. I understand that he's part of this. I get that. But for the purpose of this exercise, we're going to discuss the outfield starters as Marsh in center, Kepler in left, and Castellanos in right. That's how we're going to break this down. Let's start with center field and the embattled Brandon Marsh, who had probably on record one of the worst, if not the worst, March, April, and May's ever recorded in MLB history. I think he was batting close to like those below 100 at one point. Then he gets hurt, goes down to Lehigh, comes back, and becomes a whole different player. Turns the season around batting wise, ends up with a 280 batting average, 133 games, 11 homers, 43 RBIs, and a very respectable 785 OPS. But disappeared completely in the postseason. I'm done with Brandon Marsh, honestly. Again, it's bad taste in my mouth with the whole Hoppe thing. I just think he's always going to be, when I look at him, I'm always going to think about what could have been with Logan O'Hoppe. And again, it's not Brandon's fault, but I'm just done with him. But I'm not done enough to throw him off the team. I am done enough to throw him out of center field and move him to the bench. He does serve a purpose on this team as a platoon option. So he will be back in 2026. I am retaining Brandon Marsh's services again under team control. I'm retaining his services. He will be part of my team, but is taking his ass to the bench. So that leaves me with, who do I go with in center field? Who is my center fielder of 2026? And I looked around, and there's some interesting names out there, free agent wise, who are considered center fielders. Led by Cody Bellinger, who is a free agent, UFA, comes with a current market value of over $30 million a year. He is 30 years old, will be 31 sometime during the season. Mike Yastrzemski's maybe a little bit of a cheaper option at $11 million, but he's 35. When the hell did Mike Yastrzemski become 35 years old? What the hell's going on in my life? I remember when he broke into the league. I thought it was like last year. Mike Yastrzemski is 35 years old. Cedric Mullins, take that and shove it up your ass. Luis Robert, he's got a club option. He'll probably be retained by the White Sox. And then you got Trent Grissom. Interesting name there. 28. Comes with a market value of $12 million. But he's a lefty. And you got also Duran Duran, but he's got a club option with the Red Sox. He ain't going absolutely nowhere. They're retaining him. So there's some names out there. But the most intriguing name that I can find to replace Brandon Marsh in center field, folks, is definitely 100% unequivocally the man who should have been here this year. And that is our number one overall draft pick in 2022, or not our first round, not one overall, but our first round draft pick in 2022. Justin, God let it be his time next year, Crawford. 112 games over with the Iron Pigs, a gaudy 334 batting average, 7 home runs, 47 runs batted in, and an 863 OPS, also 46 stolen bases to his name. It's time that Justin Crawford ascends and takes his proper spot on this baseball team as the starting center fielder in 2026. Dombrowski mentioned that he believes Crawford's better at left field than he is in center field. I disagree. I think Crawford is a prototypical center fielder. I think was born to play center field. And on my team, he is my center fielder in 2026. I'm rolling the dice. So if you're keeping track at home, I have now decided to bring up Justin Crawford, make him a starter. I'm giving Otto Kemp a full-time job on this team as my third baseman, and I'm bringing up Aiden Miller at some point during the 2026 season. So that's 3 players that I've changed internally. There's the infusion of youth. There's the change to all this. So Justin Crawford is my new center fielder. 100%, unequivocally, hands down. Take it to the bank. He's going to start at center field for me day one. Brandon Marsh is taking his ass to the bench where he belongs. Now let's go out to left field. In one of Dave Dombrowski's free agent signings of last year, the very uninspiring, unimpressing Max Kepler, 127 games. I felt sick making this graphic, by the way. 127 games, a putrid 216 batting average, 18 homers, 52 RBIs, and a terrible 691 OPS for the only offensive free agent we brought in last year during the offseason. The only one was Max Kepler. By the way, if you're keeping track at home as well, Dombrowski brought in Kepler, he brought in Joe Ross, and he brought in Romano. Romano and Ross never even made it to the postseason rosters, and Kepler was what Kepler was. Do I have to even explain why Kepler will not be part of this in 2026? Okay. Can we just move off of Kepler and say goodbye to him? He's gone. History. He was on a 1-year deal, trying to re-sign. Again, Max Kepler's name wasn't brought up at all today for rightful reasons. But the name that was brought up was the name of this man right here, Harrison Bader. Between the Twins and the Phillies, 140 games, a 281 batting average, 17 home runs, 54 RBIs, and an 801 OPS. Harrison Bader will be my starting left fielder come 2026. There's some options out there. We can take a look at them real quick on the free agent market in left field as well. Let's take a look at that. I had it up. Where did it go? There it is. All right. Kyle Schwarber. He's still listed here as a left fielder. Michael Conforto, the 32-year-old, will be a free agent from the Dodgers. Tyler O'Neill's got an opt-out with the Orioles. Gurriel Jr. Has a player option with the Diamondbacks for $13 million. He's probably going to exercise that. I do like Jesse Winker. I ain't going to lie, but again, he's 30-2. Austin Hayes. Now Bader's up there too. Austin Hayes, Austin Slater, and Dominic Smith round out and Austin Hayes has got a mutual option with the Reds. So there's your free agents in left field. So I'm going with Bader. I'm letting it ride, man. I'm gonna hope that the good juju carries over to 2026 and Bader continues a late career resurgence, let's call it. So Bader is my starting left fielder. And that brings me to the last corner spot in the outfield. And appropriately, that's the best picture of Nick Castellanos right there. There it is, man. There's the lasting image of Nicky Bats, Casty, whatever you want to call it, is zero. Nick Castellanos, head in hand, perfect. Can't ask for anything better than that. 147 games, 250 batting average, 17 home runs, 72 RBIs, and a terrible 694 OPS. And he has the balls, the stones, the cojones, the testicles, whatever, the scrotum, whatever you want to call them, to get uppity with Rob Thompson after Rob Thompson stuck with him through a dreadful 2024. And when I say stuck with him through all 162 games of the regular season, the 4 games into the postseason. He played every single game in 2024. And then he finally gets benched, and he has a little fit like a child. Now, you could also maybe turn that back on Rob Thompson by saying, Nick Castellanos' point of view, you stuck with me through 2024 and you're not going to stick with me now. So we're not friends anymore. You're casting me off, whatever. Nick Castellanos' time in Philadelphia has come and it has gone, folks. And he sealed his deal when he left town on the way to Los Angeles by saying the negative energy affects us negatively from the fans. So now it's all but official. Nick Castellanos will not be a Philly in 2026. And I pray and I hope, and I'm going to be watching the calendar, circling the dates, looking at the schedule, whatever team he ends up with. When they come back into town, Nick Castellanos will get his appropriate response. He'll be held accountable by the Philadelphia Philly faithful when he steps on Citizen Bank Field the next time as a member of an opposing team. And I know the Phillies faithful will not let me down. And they will speak for us all by giving Nick Castellanos what he deserves. So, again, do I have to get into any more of this? Castellanos is done. History. But the question is, who do we bring up in his stay? Who is going to man right field for the future of the Philadelphia Phillies? Let's go to the big board here and let's see what the free agent market has in store for us. Very decent options. Sterling Marte at a $7 million market value, but he's 37 years old and he was a primary DH for the Mets last year before he was in and out with injury. But $7 million, I don't know, but I don't know if he can play defense anymore. Kyle Tucker, 28-year-old, $40 million market value with the Cubs. I ain't going there. Lane Thomas, Riddell Grichuk, Adam Frazier. I like Adam Frazier, but he's 34. Tommy Pham, he seems to be a free agent every year until he decides to retire. The man's 37. Ryan O'Hearn, I think Joe Hale mentioned him a couple nights ago, comes with only $11 million price tag, but he's 32. Not going old man river on this, folks. I'm going with another infusion of young minor league talent. Enter stage right. Where's he at? Did I not put him on here? There he is. Gabriel Raconis Jr. That's right. There's your new right fielder, folks. 119 games played for the Lehigh Valley Iron Pigs, a 240 batting average, 18 home runs, 73 RBIs, and a gaudy 800 OPS. That's what I'm looking for at this point. The man gets on base. I don't care if he doesn't hit home runs. 18 home runs at AAA, that's nothing. I don't want him to hit home runs. I want him to maintain an 800 OPS at the major league level. Get your ass on base. This is what bringing youth does. You change the DNA of this club, and this is the only way they can do it. The free agent market's got some boomer busts out there. Pete Alonso, Arise. Yes, those are players that I want to aggressively. Kelly Jansen. I just revealed one of my relief pitcher targets for the offseason. Those are the three names that I want to go after in the free agent market. Everything else comes from within. I want massive change too, but I want to insert our young talent. It's time for these guys to play baseball. Rokonis has been flying under the radar for multiple amounts of seasons now. He needs to be given an opportunity to become the new starting right fielder. And he kind of even looks like Castellanos, doesn't he? I'm going with Gabriel Rokonis Jr., or we'll call him GR Jr. GR Jr. That's what we're going to call him. And he is my new right fielder for 2026 and beyond, because his service time hasn't started yet either. So there you go. I have done the catcher position. I have done the outfielders. And we're getting ready to go into the pitchers starting next week. So here we go. Well, these, God, man, you guys left me all over the place. Did I already do that one? Oh, yeah, I already did that one. Do the Phillies get a good bat? Yeah, I already did that one too. If I have to see Brandon Marsh in his team, I'm going to scream. No, he's going to stay. He serves a purpose here, and he's under team control. Again, that matters. How much money do you pay Bader? He's got a $10 million mutual option. I pay him what he's owed. No. They're not going with two rookies in the outfield. Why not? Why not? What's the other option? I'm asking. I just read to you the damn free agents. I don't see a problem with that. Again, go back to the press conference today. Both of those individuals were talked about very glowingly. That is what I'm going with. He gets on base, but still low average. I don't want to know low batting average. Listen, I don't care how he gets there. He's got to hit his way, walk his way, get hit by a pitch. I don't care how he gets on base. Ryan, it's about changing the attitude and the approach of this baseball team. It's time. If there were other options available on the market, I would look at those options. They're all older options. It's time to start working these players into the system and find out that they can hack it or not. There's not much more Justin Crawford can do in the minors. There's not much more that Gabriel Rokonis can do in the minors. It's time for them to step up or ship out, one or the other. And I'm done throwing away bad money after bad. Again, this is MattyB. This is me running the team. Alonso at first, Bryce. Alonso at first, Bryce DH. What's the purpose? What's his purpose? Please explain. Purpose of what? Purpose of what? What? Doesn't matter. I'm not going to bat him. I'm not going to bat him back to back. I understand that. Actually, I think Rokonis is a righty, isn't he? Isn't one of them a righty? Let me see something. I gotta look that up. But no, I'm not going to bat him back to back. I already have a lineup done too, and they're not batting back to back. You have two left-handers in the lineup. See, but Arise, Alonso, they're right-handers. Again, this is my wish list. It's not gospel. It's my wish list. And I would ride into the season with this team. 100%. 100%. There you go. There it is. You heard it here first. We are done. The Marsh thing. What's his purpose? Okay, I just told you. He's on the team control. It's cheap. And he does serve a purpose on this team. He does. Come off the bench. It's a platoon option. If in MP's world, in MP's world, I can't hack the outfield with two rookies. He's my safety net for one of those rookies. 100%. That's what his purpose is. Bryce, Kyle, Rokonis, Stott, Crawford, all lefties. Yeah, okay. Kyle who? Kyle Schwarber. Kyle Schwarber's not on my team going forward. Kyle Schwarber's moving off. Then trade prospects for prospects who have certain skill qualities, have a goal. And that's my goal. Let these boys play. Schwarber's not part of my equation going forward. I'm moving off of him. Schwarber's gone. Alonso's first base, Harper's DH. All right. There you go. Let's open up the phone lines, everybody. I promised you. Open up the phone lines. Schwarber is in here. So the phone lines are now open. If Schwarber is, yeah, I agree. It's part of my plan to bring in Alonso. There was a reason he was backing up Trout in LA. He's garbage. Well, he's also a younger player at that time. I'm not Dave, but listen, you're not going to get an argument out of me, man. I would love to sit here and tell you that again, Brandon Marsh to me is always I'm going to look at him and always lament over Logan O'Hoppe. I don't agree with that trade. We're stuck with him though, and it's going to have to be about saving some money somewhere. He's going to be back. I 100% agree to that. I guarantee you that. Yes, MP. So if you, I'm not going to I can't put up the graphic yet because I have not revealed the pictures. So what we've been doing over the course of the last few nights, MP, just to kind of catch up, we've been reconstructing the Phillies in my vision. This is the Phillies offseason, who stays and who goes and why segment. We've gone through the manager all the way up through the outfield. We've done them all now. You'd have to go back and look at some of the older episodes from the week. And I've given you reasons for why I want to keep certain players and want to get rid of them. And this is my wish list. This is what I would like to do. And I've given all reasons for it. So, and then next week or Sunday, we'll do the pitchers, and Monday we'll do the pitchers, and we'll finish it up. So this is what I would do if I were in charge. And what I heard from Dave Dombrowski today, unfortunately, or maybe fortunately, mirrors what I would want to do, honestly. Mirrors it. I think there's going to be an infusion of younger talent. I don't think Dave's averse to changing things. I'm just wondering where that change is coming from. I don't know if they can go outside the team and get it. It's going to have to come from within. And he mentioned the players today that I've already decided to go forward with. So if you can get Alonso. Now, on my team, I got Luis Arraez coming in and replacing Stott. So I got some veteran heavy 1 through 6 in my lineup, and then 7, 8, 9 is all the bottom feeders. And to be honest with you, but the lefty righty crap, I'm done with that. The hell with that nonsense. I've never prescribed to lefty righty. Nah, I don't care about that. It's out the door for me. I really don't care. Either you can hit or you can't hit. I'm tired of players who can't hit left, whatever, man. Then don't play in the lineup. So this is where I would want the lineup to be. A change in the DNA, as I've been saying for months now. Anyway, so the phone lines are open. If you want to get in, get on in. Show your outfield again from tonight. I left for. Okay, so Ryan wants to see the outfield tonight. All right. Well, let's tell you what. Let's go to the schedule real quick. I got to promo some things on the network. So it is Thursday. I imagine the Steel City postgame show is about to start here any second, if it already hasn't. Somebody said the Bengals won. So make sure that you're tuned in for that. As soon as I'm done, switch over to them. Tomorrow will be the wraparound. And then on Saturday, you got the attacking third, Penn State, Iowa, Happy Huddle, and then me on the call for the Flyers in the Wild. So that is your lineup for the rest of the week on the network. As far as Ryan's question, he wants me to recap the outfield. I will start again quickly. I'm not going into the rants that I went into again. It's going to seem forced. But in center field, for the purpose of this exercise, center field was Brandon Marsh, left field was Kepler, and right field was Castellanos. Saying goodbye to Marsh in center. Where's he at? But I'm not moving him off the team. I'm moving him onto the bench. He's going to be part of a platoon option or a bench piece coming in late innings defensively, whatever you want to call it. He's going to stay on my team as a defensive replacement or a platoon guy. In his stay, it's time for Justin Crawford to get his opportunity to start. And there's his numbers this year with Lehigh Valley. 46 stolen bases, pretty damn good. At 863 OPS. That's damn good. That's really good. Left field, of course, occupied by the very unimpressive Max Kepler. I didn't spend much time talking about why I don't want a guy who batted 216 and had a 691 OPS. All right, I didn't spend much time. But I did talk about his replacement, which will be Harrison Bader. All right, I'm going to move Harrison Bader into left field. Going to exercise that mutual option for $10 million, and then we're going to run him for at least one season. And of course, the poster boy for ineptitude in losing whatever is Nick Castellanos. Perfect picture, by the way, of Nick. I might put this on my computer wallpaper somewhere. Is totally gone out of right field, and in his place will be Gabriel Raconis Jr. From Lehigh Valley Iron Pigs with his 800 OPS. He gets on base. So that's my outfield going forward into next season, to start at least. And I will ride and die with that outfield. We'll talk about the bench on Sunday along with the starters. We'll talk about the bench. So there you go. There you have it. There's my starting rotate. There's my starters, basically. There's my first base all the way through right field. We have the catchers, or not the catchers, the starters and the bullpen, as well as the bench to do next week. And we'll finish it up with me debuting my actual lineup, how I see it to be in 2026. So got to stay tuned for that stuff next week. Ryan, what's going on, man?
What's going on?
I'm doing well. How about you?
All right. So, yeah, what I want to explain is, see, if we're going to have plans and you have a goal, if a certain prospect or a certain player doesn't fit to that, what you want to look for in players going into the future, and the kind of guys you draft, have a plan in place. So even though Raconis is an on-base guy, he can't hit just because he's an on-base guy. So, well, then trade him for a guy that's a better hitter that has what you want in players. I'm not saying like a number one prospect, but like an average prospect that's more of a hitter, that's more plate disciplined. Like that. Those are the kind of things I'm talking about. Look for certain qualities in players. So if that means you have to trade a prospect for a prospect, well, then look for those certain things in a player that you want and trade him for that. Or do your due diligence and be smart about it. Just because, like you know what I mean. If you're a team and you have goals, you have scouts, well, then talk to them and be like, this is our plan going forward. This is the kind of team we want. These are the kind of players we're looking for and what they have. So if there's guys out there, I would like to know about that so we can possibly start trying to get those kind of players. So if that means trading a prospect for a prospect or the kind of guys we draft, this is our plan going forward. And then, you know what I mean? So just because Raconis is one of our draft guys doesn't mean we have to keep him. Have a plan in place and look for certain qualities that you want and trade him for that.
I agree with what you're saying about the qualities, but here's the thing. We don't know what Raconis can do at the major league level. We don't know what Miller can do or Crawford can do. We got to find out.
I'm not going to trade Miller, of course. I believe in him, but
because Miller was a higher draft pick or because Crawford come from a higher pedigree. I got you. But you know what? Otto Kemp was a UDFA. Never was drafted. He was an undrafted free agent. And Otto Kemp has earned his way onto this baseball team. Now, was he hitting a ton? Otto Kemp struck out 64 times and 197 at-bats. It's a lot. But I'm prepared to give him another opportunity as an everyday player. I think Raconis Jr. has earned the opportunity with his skill set of getting on base to see what he can do at the major league level. That's why I'm keeping Marsh around just in case it doesn't work out. I hear what you're saying. I do. I agree with you. But I also don't think the Phillies went into drafting Raconis and developing him over the last 4 years because he doesn't fit a certain skill set. I think they feel that he does. And it's just a matter of him working his way into that opportunity. And I think this summer or this spring, am I telling you to hand it over to him in spring training? No, he's going to have an earn it out of camp, but he should get the opportunity and the primary rep in right field, in my opinion, because of the infusion of the youth. I get what you're saying. I agree with you. I'm not saying you do willy-nilly just throw anybody out there, but we got to find out. We don't know what Raconis is. We don't know what Miller is. We don't know what friggin' Crawford is. Can I remind you of Dominic Brown? Remember that name? Remember he was so highly touted and he came up here, hit for a half a season and then fell apart? Mickey Moniak. The list goes on and on.
No, I know.
Who were higher pedigree, who had a plan, who fit a skill set that didn't work. I get you saying it's a crapshoot either way. I just feel what I've seen from the guy, from what I've seen from Castellanos, what I've seen from the Phillies, I'm getting away from this home run or bust mentality. I want the
I
ball to
agree.
be hit to all fields. Crawford
Yes.
has no power at all. He is going to hit a ton of balls on the ground, but we're going to use his speed to try to leg him out. And that's going to be fun to watch and enjoyable to watch, honestly.
Yeah, I want to trade. I'm with you on that, but the thing is, we seen Rakonis in the minors who he is. He's not an average hitter. He might get on base, but we struggle. See, certain guys are patient guys on our team, but when it comes to the playoffs, we need guys that can hit, not just be a patient hitter, but a low average. We need guys that can hit too, because what has been happening in the playoffs? Everybody's on the radio keeps saying, and then some of the host guys keep saying, well, we didn't do that bad. The Dodgers didn't smoke us. Well, what has our problem been? It's we can't hit. And so if you're just going to be up there looking at a lot of pitches and get on base that way, you got to be able to hit too. And so you got to have a combination of all that. So I love on base guys. It's something I look for in players, and I like that. But if your lineup struggles at hitting and runners in scoring position, you got to have guys that can hit too, not just have a good eye up there, but they can't hit. You got to have everything.
I agree 100%. But he also drove in 73 runs with 11 home runs.
I know, but
so he got runners in somehow without using the long ball. He got runners in. All right.
Yeah,
I get what you're saying. I'm prepared to give him a chance. Now, you mentioned the playoffs, 100%, and also the smoke thing. I don't care if the Dodgers beat us 18-1 or 2-1. A loss is a friggin' loss. I don't care how we got to the loss. It's a damn loss. So that's immaterial to me. But Rakonis is going to have an opportunity. We're not starting the playoffs in March. He's going to have an opportunity to work his way into that opportunity. If he doesn't hack it, then we move on from him to another option. And again, you got to safeguard yourself from that. You could look and bring in maybe Conforto. You could look and bringing in some of those older right fielders for a possible bench option to safeguard yourself. But I just feel that I'm done waiting for this so-called rejuvenated farm system to show what they got. It's time.
Mm-hmm.
Whether or not these players are the real deal or not, I don't know. But it's time to find out. I was glad Mick Abel was up here last year. I think they screwed that up. I think Mick Abel is going to be a really good pitcher in this league. But they gave him the chance. Finally, after 6 years in the minor leagues, he got an opportunity. Was he ready? Maybe not, but he's got the opportunity. I don't want to wait anymore for finding out. I don't think Crawford can prove anything more at AAA. There's nothing more he can do.
Oh, no, I'm with you on Crawford. I'm with you on
Miller's got to stay there for at least a half the season. I need to see Miller more at AAA because he only played one game there after spending all at AA. Rakonis has been with the Pigs for 2 years. It's time to give him a chance or ship him out. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. We just need a plan in place, though. Like, with what we want in players and how we can make a team, and not because look, the thing is, we want to talk about Harper, we want to talk about the big guys, but the thing is, if you can take some pressure off them, you want your big guys to be, of course, the leaders of the team. But if you take pressure off them and you build a team the right way, but then you don't have to always rely on them. And if you have it up and down the lineup, the thing is, if you just have hitters that might not hit too much power, but they have 20 home run ability, I'd rather have that up and down the lineup versus just having three guys like a Schwarber, Harper, and a Bohm, but then everyone else struggles. So you gotta have a plan in place of how you want it to be. So if it's not power guys, well, then you got to have great hitters, very good hitters up and down your lineup all throughout. Otherwise, if you're going to have a Harper, a Schwarber, and a Bohm, well, then the other guys are going to have to be able to at least be average and not only blaming on Harper. And that's been the thing is we lack the hitting ability and knowing how to build a lineup and construct it. We either want this or this, or have two or three guys, and then like.
What do you think of my plan to ship Bohm out and turn over third base to Otto Kemp until Aiden Miller's ready?
No way. I'm not going to waste a half a year just thinking that I can just have a guy for a half a year and then wait for the guy. You never know if that's going to actually happen. So why waste an opportunity till the middle of the year? That's why I don't like, for instance, when we make trades, yeah, you should go into the season thinking that no, we're not going to have to make trades in the middle of the season. So let's start from the beginning of the season and have a great roster. And yeah, if we can make trades, that would be great. But we want to make sure right now at the beginning of the season, our roster can be as great as possible, so we don't have to make trades in order to make us better. But yeah, we want to make trades. But if your goal is just to have to try to make trades and wait till the middle of the season to add a few more guys, then that's a bad plan. Do it from the beginning of the season, wanting to add to that, but make it the best you can at the beginning of the season.
So what about Dave Dombrowski's press conference today was Otto Kemp will have an opportunity to play every day. So where does he put him in? Where does he put him at? I mean, I don't know where he's going to play. He's got to play.
He's a great bench guy, just like Edmundo Sosa is a great bench guy. Like, I think they're great bench pieces.
Yeah, but Otto Kemp is at the beginning of his career. He's not going. You're doing him a disservice if you're going to keep him and put him on the bench and trade him. He's got to play every day, or he's got to be traded. You don't keep a guy that's entering his second year. Not even really. I mean, if you can classify as last year as his first year, you can, but it's not even a real season. 60 some odd games, and then you're going to put him on the bench. I think Kemp is here to play. Now, how long that is, we talked about some of the third base options out there. Everybody's in the mid-30s. There's nothing valuable down in that late 20s range. Kyle Tucker, go there, or not Tucker, but Bregman. Bregman's going to cost you $35-40 million to bring him here. It's just not feasible. I got you. You need a plan, and you got to trade if you can't sign. I'm just thinking, honestly, what I think they're thinking, they're going to bring the core back, and that core is now going to be Realmuto, Turner, and Harper. That's the new core on the offense. Schwarber's not coming back. Now, if they don't bring Schwarber in, they got to bring somebody else in, like Alonso, to supplant Schwarber. So that would be the fourth guy to the core. The rest of these players, in my opinion, are going to be supplanted by younger talent within their system, because I just don't see how they can navigate getting new talent in here through the free agent market or trades.
Yeah, I believe in Aiden Miller, but again, those other mid-level prospects, you should want them again to be a certain kind of player and not just put them in there. Make your roster again. Construct your roster going forward and have a plan, because that's what good teams do, is having a plan and looking for them and sticking to that and doing their due diligence, instead of just putting guys in there and then expecting them and then we continue to struggle in the playoffs. Like, you gotta start having a plan of what you want in players and going after that, and doing your homework and due diligence, because that's how true teams last. Instead of just plugging guys in there, hoping that they become that, look for those quality and traits and things in players and build your team that way. It's like simple minor league moves. Start doing that with moves you make and trades you make. Look for those kinds of things in hitters. Like, you and me agree with so much on hitters and not wanting just guys that are sluggers and nothing. Well, then it's just so frustrating that this team just does not want certain things in players instead of just plugging them in.
It is, Ryan. And listen, great conversation this week. I got to let you go for the night, but no, I agree. We'll obviously continue this conversation into next week as we talk about the pitchers. Wait till you see what I want to do with the pitchers. All right. So if you're getting
I like pitchers and ground ball guys, and I'm not about throwers. I'm all about
pitchers riled up about
know
the
how
offense.
to do things.
Wait till you see what I want to do to the pitching staff. All right, Ryan. Have a good weekend, man. We'll talk next week. All right, Ryan Swope. Joe Hale. What's going on, man?
I can't hear.
Joe, come on. You've been sitting backstage for like an hour and you can't hear. Joe, can you hear? Go out and come back in, Joe. Joe. Joe, can you hear me? We know Painter won't be on your list. Yes, you will. Don't undercut me that much, MP. Painter might be there. Don't forget, there's going to be two different types of rotations. There's going to be the rotation that carries us through June and a rotation that starts in April. This is two different rotations, because Wheeler won't be ready till the end of May. Out of the president's mouth or whatever he is, vice president, president. I don't know what he is, but out of his own mouth, Painter will not be ready until the end of May. So someone's got to step into that void, especially if we don't re-sign Ranger. So let's try Joe again. Joe, can you hear me now?
Yes.
All right, Joe. Thank you for waiting. What's up?
I just want to talk about a bench.
A bench. Okay.
You mentioned the name Jesse Winkler.
I did.
I think it would. I think it would be perfect. And you mentioned another name, Conforto, but Conforto's too old.
Conforto's like 50.
I mentioned Ryan O'Hearn.
You did mention Ryan O'Hearn. Yep. 11 million, actually less, 7 million, less, very, very affordable. 7 million.
What would you have to give up? Castellanos?
Well, all those guys are free agents. They can sign.
Okay.
They're all UFAs. They can just sign them and bring them here. There's no compensation given, but you got to make room on the roster somehow. So yes, Castellanos is going. I don't think Castellanos is a Philly. I don't know who's going to be in right field. Is it Gabriel Raconis Jr., Henry Winkler, Conforto, Gordiel Jr.? I don't know who's going to be standing out there, but I can guarantee you it's not going to be Nick Castellanos.
Castellanos for O'Hoppy. Castellanos for O'Hoppy.
The Angels would be stupid to do that trade. I would take it, but they would never do it.
And your bench coach, you mentioned the manager that you wanted. I think Dusty Baker comes in.
So here you go. And I did mention Dusty Baker. And I really believe that this whole smokescreen about an MLB field coordinator is, in essence, to get the current bench manager out of that job. They don't want to get rid of him. But they got to they're putting somebody in to be a safety net for if Rob Thompson has to go midseason. That's what they're doing, in my opinion.
Okay.
So that's how I stand on that.
Who would you put? And then I'll let you go. I know you have to finish the show.
Who's my bench manager?
Yes.
Or my bench coach? I mentioned Dusty. I mentioned Mattingly. Don Mattingly he's the bench coach of the Blue Jays. Just come over here and do it. I would like to see him. Obviously, Bochy ain't coming here to be a bench coach. They're never going to be able to sell Bochy on that.
Mike Scioscia.
Who?
Mike Scioscia.
Would Mike Scioscia want to come? I mean, the guy was a manager for like 30 years. I don't know if he would accept something like that. And if Mike Scioscia did come, now the Phillies got to be slick about it a little bit too. Don't you think? If you're bringing in a Mike Scioscia,
yeah,
come on. Why is he coming here? He's coming here in case Rob Thompson fails. So, but I mean, if he would accept the role, yeah. I mean, hell, I'd even bring Larry Boa in as the bench coach at this point. He could do that job.
Because here's why I said Scioscia. He's from Philly, believe it or not.
Yeah, I know.
If not Scioscia, Bob Melvin.
Yeah, I mean, these are definite names, and it's going to be a known name. They said it in the press conference. They want a guy who has managerial experience to be a second set of eyes or a second whatever to bounce ideas. No, it's to be a safety net in case Rob Thompson does not get out of May. That's exactly why they're doing this.
I think he's lame duck right now, Thompson. I think that's why they extended him.
Yeah. Well, they're definitely going to have to. Rob and Derek Shelton. Those guys might not be bad. Absolutely. I wouldn't mind seeing guys like that, like MP is mentioning, Shelton, Rob, and Derek. I would not mind seeing one of them. It's somebody with some cachet, former experience. Maybe he's been out of the game for a little while. Maybe he hasn't. Maybe he's coming from another position. Maybe they lure somebody over. But to create a position so that they could take their current bench coach out of it, put him in the new position, and then open up the bench coach, just a little coincidental for me, honestly. And it smells of bigger things. What's that?
I was wrong. It was Tversky that asked the one question to Dombrowski.
Which one? Which question?
And Mark. They're good questions, so.
Yeah, there was only two good questions given, and I think it was the same guy who gave both of them, right?
No.
There was two good questions the entire press conference that had any kind of ass to it. That's two of them. That was it. But
Yes.
no, it was tough. It was tough. Listen, man, tough to stay awake because the guy could put. I'm telling you, I was like nodding off listening to that in my little office space, man. I thought I was going to fall asleep.
And I was at work, and we're not allowed to have a friends. I work for the public. I work for Wawa.
Right. No, I was. It was like ASMR, man. That's what it was to me. I was, and then Rob Thompson with his monotone ass comes on. I was like, good God, what are you guys trying to do? Create massive traffic accidents out there? People listen to this crap in their cars. Woof. But all right, Joe. Listen, you're kind of in and out, man. What's that?
All right. I wanted to screw it Ryan real quick.
Okay, go ahead.
Third baseman, Otto Kemp should be there full time until Aiden Miller's ready.
I think that's what they're going to do.
They should.
I think it's the easiest option to do it, and I know
perfect.
And I know what Ryan's concern is, and it's a valid concern. It's you don't want to just put somebody in there. You want a hitter. You want someone. You want to have a plan. But they do have a plan. That plan's Aiden Miller, and that's unfortunate. What their plan is right now. Again, going into today, I really was taking a flyer on Kemp as being the starting third baseman. But to listen to Dombrowski talk about him, he mentioned he wants to see him play. He's earned the opportunity to play every day. That's not going onto the bench. That makes no sense to put Otto Kemp on the bench. He's going to have to play every day. Where's he going to play? He's going to play third base because that's the position that's going to open up for him because they're going to get rid of Bohm. So
100%.
I was reading between the lines on that. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm not. I don't know. We'll see. But Otto Kemp will be part of the team next year in some capacity, and I hope it's an everyday third baseman until Aiden Miller's ready.
I'm going to ask the wrap around show to give them their line. See if they do it. I'll ask Pat.
Well, I'm going to tell you, and I don't have any inside information, but all three of them are going to say Schwarber stays.
Okay.
All three of them are also now. Half of them are going to say Bohm stays. None of them are going to say Castellanos stays. I don't know what they're going to say. They'll all say Stott stays.
Mike will probably say Schwarber stays.
Mike will say it, and I think Al will say it. Yeah, that's my guess. That's my guess. But we'll have to wait and see on Sunday, though. Joe, listen, thanks for being part of the show this week. Have a good weekend, and we'll talk again on Sunday night, man.
Yep.
All right. Joe Hale. All right. Can't believe no reporter asked why they carried so many pitchers in the playoffs. That's a good point. So that somebody did talk about that. Well, indirectly, Dombrowski brought it up by saying about Rojas having that speed, but he didn't say. He did say because we had too many. He said because we had the pitchers. But you're right. It was a terrible press conference. MP. It was terrible. The Philadelphia sports media misrepresented the fan base big time, and it was really embarrassing. If he's an old Merrifield, I'd love it. What the Merrifield we got here? I don't know about that, Ryan. All right, listen, guys, we are almost coming up on 2 hours, setting records here tonight on the program. Let's get into our final segment of the night, and I'm going to wrap it up for the week. 5 shows done this week. That's good stuff, man. But let's get into the final segment. All right, MattyB's card review, our final one of the week. Did 5 of them this week, and we're going to wrap it up tonight. It says no, the KC version. Yeah, I'll take them. I take the KC version. Don't want the one that was here. I'd even take the version that was in Atlanta, the one that when he left here. I'd take that version. You meant former Merrifield. Well, you got to be more specific when you talk about them. All right, let's wrap this thing up tonight with our baseball card review. 2018 tops. Is that what it is? Yes. 2017 rookie class in baseball was a banner year in baseball. You know, I believe that was the debut of Aaron Judge, and Aaron Judge was a hot topic, hot commodity And it's been a hot commodity ever since he broke into baseball. Anything with Aaron Judge's face on it, any card you can pick up, and I'm talking anything from his rookie year up to today. You can get a hold of Aaron Judge stuff, just put it away and save it, right? He's got that type of ceiling about a player. Tonight we're going to talk about his 2018 Rookie of the Year award card that was given out by Topps as a baseball card from the Topps 2018 Series 1 set. It was an insert card, a specialty card that they added to that set in that year. I'm trying to look. Where did I see that? The card number. There's the card number. But anyway, let's put it up here. Here it is. Again, kind of a really cool card. I like the layout of this card a lot. I love the utilization of the crowd along with the player. Again, using the entire full card to demonstrate the players. I don't even know if that's not a border, by the way. That's just me cutting and pasting and trying to reduce the background border that was on that picture. So this card has no real actual border. It's just the entire picture as the front. Again, it was a specialty card from Topps Series 1 of 2018. This card is actually pretty worth. It's not blowing out. It's not like a Aaron Judge Chrome rookie. You're not going to get a couple hundred for it, but this card's about $30 on any reputable site and on any reputable market. And again, it's featuring Aaron Judge, one of the more marketable faces in Major League Baseball. So anytime you can get a hold of an Aaron Judge product, I suggest you go ahead and do it and you save it. I'm not a Yankee fan. I hate the Yankees, but you gotta be pretty impressed with Aaron Judge and his abilities and what he's going to mean to baseball and to the Yankees going forward and the rest of his career. So anything you can get a hold of Aaron Judge is marketable. And here's his 2018 Aaron Judge Rookie of the Year award card from the Series 1 set of 2018. There you go. There's our final card review of the night, of the week. 2 hours tonight, guys. Killing me, man. I got a life, man. My wife's looking at me like, really? But no, it's been good stuff. Great week. Great show. We've revealed 3/4 of MattyB's new Philadelphia Phillies team. The Phillies offseason, who stays and who goes. We are complete through all the position players, the manager, the DH, and all that's left next week. And Sunday night, we are going to knock out the starters and possibly the relievers and possibly the bench. We might finish this up Sunday night. If I don't do I could hold the bench off till Tuesday or Monday, but we'll try to see if we can wrap it all up Sunday night. And then I can put out the pretty graphic of how this lineup's going to look on paper, how it will look on the field, and then we can get ready for the actual offseason and see how much I was right or how much I was wrong. Already some controversial moves. Turning third base over to Otto Kemp. Turning right field over to Gabriel Raconis Jr. Turning center field over to Justin Crawford. These are controversial moves. Acquiring Pete Alonso. Saying goodbye to Kyle Schwarber. Moving Bryce Harper to DH. Saying goodbye to Bryson Stott. Now, in my team, he's leaving, and I'm bringing in Luis Ariz. Keeping hold of JT Realmuto because I just don't know another option. There's nothing out there on the market, and we don't have anything in the system that's ready to step in. So some controversial moves, but this is what it's going to hopefully look similar in real life. This is the kind of change. And I'm not talking about the players verbatim. If it's not Raconis, if it's not Kemp, whatever, a change in baseball philosophy has to occur with this team. And when I look at all the avenues to do that with, I don't see a viable opportunity to go out into free agency or into the trade market and do that type of change. It's got to come from within the system if you want to actually change it. Whether or not you have the right players in the system to do it, we'll have to wait and see. And I get Ryan's point 100%. But I think they do have a plan. And I think they draft players with a plan. I don't think there's a bunch of guys in a room with a dartboard throwing darts at names. I think there's a plan for the needs of a team 5 years from now. And I say, what better time than now at this juncture of this organization? The old way didn't work. This is the new way. Let's start getting our players up here and have them start producing or not producing, and we move on from them. So a very controversial segment as Matty B reveals his lineup projections and his starters for next season. Wait till I get to the pitchers. We'll have to wait and see that next week. But all right, guys. Again, remember all the great stuff that we got coming up on the program or the network over the weekend. I'll be back on Sunday. Kent stinks at third, would be a better outfielder. Kent made some costly errors at third this year. Yeah, but you know what? So did Bohm. And we kept him around for years. Man, perfection right off the bat. How are these guys supposed to get good, Ryan, unless you give them time to play? Man, I don't know, man. I thought I was a stickler for perfection. Ryan got nothing on me. All right. Have a good weekend. I will see you guys on Sunday. We will be doing 4 shows next week because I am not going to be on the air Thursday night. I have to leave town, but I'll be back in time for next week or the week after. So we're going to do 4 shows. Our first show will be back on Sunday night. Enjoy the rest of the programming over the weekend. You got big weekends, Philly sports, Flyers Saturday, Penn State Saturday night. Ooh. And then I must set the Phillies and the Eagles on Sunday against the Vikings. So make sure you're staying with the It's a Wrap Sports Network for the ever-changing Philly landscape as we get closer and closer to the inevitability that is start of the next season of baseball. But you guys have a good night. Have a great weekend. Thank you for joining in. Thank you for being part of a great show all week long. I will see you on Sunday. Take care.